morning, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Sandra. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video, my June goal walkthrough with my power sheets. So I'm using my Cultivate What Matters 2024 Power Sheets Goal Planner. Of course, I'm so happy to have found this book. I mean, the things that the kind of like the whole concept of setting goals and setting goals from a place where it kind of stems from your um, what's the word I'm looking for? Stems from your values and your like what you want out of life. And it's actually funny because I'm reading the Stephen Covey The 7 Habits of Effective People, and that's through Jane's Agenda Master Plan course. And I'm seeing the relevance. I'm also seeing like the similarities between the two. And I think Cultivate What Matters comes from more of a spiritual, religious point of perspective, but I feel like it's kind of the same. Like it really comes down to what's important to you. And that's how you should make your goals, right? Like, what's the end game? What's the end of your life going to look like? What do you want for the end of your life? And then work backward. And that's exactly what this planner does too. And it resonated with me yesterday because I was reading that book and I was like, hey, like what I'm using the Cultivate What Matters for, that does the same thing. So I feel like I'm ahead of the game because not only am I using this one, but I'm also using my Franklin Covey planner system. So yeah, I feel like I'm getting double the benefits. I don't know if that's true, but I feel like maybe it is. Okay, so we're in June. We are already in June, you guys. I'm going to go to the calendar. So if you haven't been here before and you're interested in setting goals, this planner is amazing, number one. Number two, there are different parts to a Cultivate What Matters goal month. So for example, the first page that you open up to is called the monthly reset. It gives you an area to write down your important to-dos, your goals to make progress on, your on my calendar and on my mind. And then you have this little check-in down here and you can kind of like rate yourself, I guess, how you're doing for the previous month. Then the next page is the calendar. So this is where you really schedule out all of your events, everything that you have to do that month. And in my perspective, I feel like this is where it should really start because everybody, no matter how busy or how not busy you are, you're going to have something on your monthly calendar. Even if you stay at home and you don't have kids, nothing really applies to you, like other people are busy or whatever. You're still going to have something. So, for example, you still need to go get groceries. You still need to take out your trash, right? You still need to go to the dentist and the doctor, and you still have appointments. You've got friends to visit or family that might want to visit. So, there's still things that you can add to a monthly calendar. And it just helps you organize, it helps you sort out your thoughts. And while you could do this in a planner, this is kind of where I start my planning system from. So my planning evolves over the course of a month, I guess. This is what I do 2 weeks before the next month. So as we can see, this is June, and this starts. I'm actually filmed it. I actually wrote it out last night, which was the 14th of May, and I'm filming the 15th of May. So it's really 2 weeks before the new month. I already start thinking about these things. I think about what I want my schedule to look like for next month. Um, to be quite honest with you, I've actually written out my content schedule for my work probably a month ago. Well, maybe not a month ago. It was like 2 weeks ago, so a whole month before it was due. And I do that on purpose because I need to know what I'm going to be doing. I need to know how much time I have left and what kind of commitments I have. And so this planner just kind of takes all the guesswork away. You don't have to sit there and be like, oh no, like I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough time for all of this. And another thing that I can relate this to is the Eisenhower matrix. So again, the Eisenhower matrix falls into the 7 Habits book with Stephen Covey, but we're also discussing it in Jane's Agenda Master Plan course. And you've got two different things in your life, two different sections. You've got important and you've got urgent, right? When something is like quadrant one is urgent and important. And that's like, if you do too much of that, like say, for example, it's like a deadline or a crisis situation. If you do too many of those things, you can easily burn yourself out. And I have a few things like that, but very rarely. So, I might have I had done a time log for Jane's agenda, like our part of her homework was a time log. And actually, I'm going to get it out right now because I want to prove to you guys what that's all about. I know it's a little off topic, but I'm going to show you because this is all about sharing information. So, my time log, I've analyzed it. Not there. Okay, here. So these are the inserts from Jane's agenda. You can print them. Print them out if you're participating in the course. The course is free, so it's really fun. But anyway, I tracked for 5 days, Monday to Friday. I tracked 86.5 hours. And I realized as I was tracking through, it was funny because I was up 17 hours and one day I was up 18.5 hours. That's how much work I do. And I realized it was overproductive. Like I didn't give myself enough time for rest breaks is what I didn't do. And so this is something I also didn't do. I've time tracked before. I think I did it a couple years back because it was part of a planning thing, but I've never done this before. And what I did was I spent, like I color coded the quadrants. So if you will, the quadrant, let me go back that page. Okay, so the quadrant. So urgent and important. So like crisis things. And Stephen Covey talks about it as if you're living in this area, your whole life is a crisis. Everything becomes a crisis, and it's hard to not think of anything as a crisis. So you're always living in crisis management, crisis situations. Basically, you're stressed and you're harried and you're worried, and it's just terrible. And then this one is, I believe this is quadrant 2. So it's important but not urgent. And it's long term tasks that are crucial but not time sensitive. So they're the bigger life goals, like save for a house or plan for a family vacation. Then you've got not important but they're still urgent. So, for example, like Stephen Covey talks about it as if somebody, um, like it says urgent. So it, like, for example, it could be an urgent email, but it's not important. Like, for example, I'm trying to think of something good. Um, like if you get an email that it's like a deadline for something, like for example, Bath and Body Works, right? They like in all of the stores that you sign up for. So sometimes you get emails from stores that you haven't even signed up for. But say, for example, you signed up for your Bath and Body Works email and it says sale tomorrow, flash sale, you have to come in and buy these things, right? And you get the email and you're like, oh, okay, crap, it's only tomorrow. And so now it becomes urgent, but is it important? Do you need anything from Bath and Body Works? So that's my example because um, I get those emails on my phone all the time. And unless, like, my one thing with, like, well, I call it kind of like the traveling salesman or the door to door salesman thing because unless I need something, I don't wanna hear it. You know what I mean? Like, the only reason I keep Bath& and Body Works emails is because they constantly sign you up every time you go in store or buy something, and then they send you the emails again. Um, and then I usually sign out, but sometimes I like to know when the sales are because if I am looking for something, namely like the lotions, the soaps, or the wall plugins, I want to know if they're on sale. So I keep those emails, but if I'm not really looking, I just delete it like immediately. Like I don't care, right? I don't want to see you. Um, and that's the same thing. Like when people call you and they're like, hey, would you like to buy this? No, sorry. If I want to buy it, I will come to you or I will go searching for it. So that's my how I feel about stuff like that. But also, this could entail sometimes when my mom calls. So when you get a phone call, like Stephen Covey was saying in his book, The 7 Habits, it's easy to want to pick it up. Most people won't let your phone ring and ring and ring. So you pick it up, and which makes it become urgent. It's an urgent task. But when my mom calls, it's not necessarily important. And a lot of us have that mindset where it's like, oh my God, somebody's calling. I need to answer it. And you could be busy doing something. Like, for example, I could be changing my kid on the couch or in the room, and then my mom calls, my phone is downstairs, but now I can't get it. Kind of like this emergency panic feeling sets in, like, oh my gosh, I need to answer my phone. But you don't really need to answer your phone. Like, what did we do 20, 30 years ago, right? So I think it's just a little bit of pulling back and realizing first you have to realize what's important and what's urgent. And that's the hard part for a lot of people. The last quadrant is not urgent and not important. And both Jane from Jane's Agenda and um, Stephen Covey say if anything falls in this quadrant, you need to get rid of it or try to get rid of it, right? So it says tasks that would be nice to get to but aren't a priority. It says such as rearrange the living room. But in my opinion, if you want to make rearrange the living room, if that's your priority for the day, if that's your one goal, then now that task becomes important and urgent because you've made it important and urgent. So just because you say something's urgent or not urgent, it really is up to you, right? Like if you say, okay, I need to work out. Today is my absolute have to work out day, or tomorrow is. Now that task becomes urgent and it's also important to you. So then you need to do that first. So they say that these two need to go in your planner. These two you can think about dropping. Okay, so it's really hard because, and if there's more of these two that you want to do, you have to take them from these two quadrants. And life is better when you live in quadrant two, which means that you're planning ahead, you're future planning, you're planning for emergency situations so that these things, the urgent crisis things, don't happen. Okay, so when I look at mine, urgent and important, 3.81% of my time is spent in there. So I'm not like leading by crisis management. And the urgent, not important, is 2.03. So that's pretty good. Like I'm pretty good that I'm handling that. And then I've got some tasks that are not urgent or not important. I spend 5.47%. But you can see the not urgent, but the important tasks where I want to be, where my planning is usually, is at 88.71. And that's perfect. That's where I would like to be. Um, and that's where I want to be. So, like for example, I think I put my reading under there. And that's because for me, it's important. It's not urgent. I don't have to do it right now, but it's still important to me. And I plan for it. I plan every day to read a chunk of for a chunk of time because my goal was to read 100 books for the year. So that's one of my goals. It's very important to me. And that kind of moves the needle, so to speak. So, anyway, so I wanted to share that with you guys because um, that's where a lot of the things come from here, right? So, you need to start thinking about what's important in your life and what you're going to plan for, and then you can plan accordingly. And that's kind of how I make my goals, right? I make it important for the long run. So when I look at this, I decided to color code it. If you don't already know, I kind of color code slash set up a theme for my planner and for my sticker shop. So for my sticker shop, I call it my marketing, my marketing plan. At the beginning of the year, I think it was December, I came up with these like 12 different themes for my planner and for my sticker shop. So, whatever theme it is, so for example, say May was butterflies. I decorated my entire planner with butterfly stuff, and I also made planner charms, I made planner stickers, I do my freebies and my giveaways, and they're all revolving around butterflies. And now for June, it's rainbow. It's a rainbow theme, which is so much fun, and I'm so excited. And so that's kind of where I was going with right here. So I still have all the important stuff and some not so important stuff. So important things would be, for example, my appointments. I've got a special appointment for my son on Sunday the 2nd, a dentist appointment on the 3rd, which I'm really not looking forward to. I actually have to get an extraction and I'm so scared. And then my son, Logan, has his 18-month doctor checkup on the 18th. Okay, I've got Father's Day on here. I've got all of my grocery dates. I've got, even in green, I decided to go ahead and write all my work stuff in. It's kind of like a high level general overview. And I've got my plan with me videos. Okay, and when I'm planning for doing those, I actually missed two of them. Let's see here. And I did, just so, in case you're curious, I did use my Papermate Inkjoy pens, 0.7, but I realized I missed two things. So I think what we'll have to do is Sunday I'll post my bullet journal set up. And my goal video for July should probably be on the Thursday. And I'm not sure if I'm doing a compact video or not. And if not, I'll probably do a reel on Instagram or something. Okay, so as you can see, everything's a different color. I kind of color coded it, kind of, because these were all different color, but I also wanted it to be like a rainbow, kind of like a rainbow theme. So I've got bills, I've got budget, I've got my garbage dates on here. So I've got garbage, recycle, garbage, recycle. So garbage goes out every 2 weeks, but recycle is every week. So I know that in my head, and compost is every week now that it's summer or spring anyway. Okay, I've also got another Red Deer trip planned down here. And yeah, so that's how I start out. And then I make notes. So for example, Father's Day, the 16th, I have a send out card to my son's grandpa. And I also need to, um, like obviously prepare for my husband's like Father's Day thing. So I'll get him a card at the same time. And then I have planner note new setup without school stuff. So because I'm going to be planning for July, I won't need to plan for my son's school. So I can use that section in my planner for a different section. So I'm excited to maybe switch it up for July a little bit. Okay. So then, and then this page I didn't talk about it, but it's break it down for your goals and then your tending list. So, I after I'm done the calendar, I go back to my monthly reset page, and this is where I kind of focus more on like the bigger details. So, important to dos. I've got my dentist appointment, my kiddos appointment. I actually forgot to put my Logan's appointment on here. 18 month. Okay. So I'm going to check with my son's grandpa to see if July 1st, like Canada long weekend or Canada Day long weekend is a go. We want to clean the basement, which we haven't done at all. Garage cleanup. You know what? I did start that. I did. But I just did the toys, like the kids' toys, because it's spring and my daughter's always in there. So I bought a few new things. And then I had to clean it because it was disgusting. So I threw out all the broken stuff. I got rid of all. I also cleaned up my planting shelf because I did just plant my garden and I'm still not completely done. But like there was a whole bunch of dirt on the garage floor from like the pots that I had in there from last year, and they hadn't got completely emptied. And then of course my kids knocked them down when they were in there. So I ended up doing that, which was good. I swept the floor, I cleaned off the shelf, I organized, I threw out stuff I didn't need. And now it just looks so good and I feel so good that I've done it. But I really do need my husband's help with the rest of it. And I need him home for a weekend so that we can actually focus on that. So I've also got planner setups, paid property tax for the end of June. And then I go on, actually, we'll look at that after. They have a spot for a calendar. So, like, you can reiterate any important calendar dates. I put those here. And then I get to goals to make progress on and on my mind. So, goals fertilize schedule and water schedule for my plants. I've already planted everything for the most part. I still have a few things I want to do. But now I need to fertilize and water. Okay, and not forget those. So I track those in here. Basement clean, garage clean, health tracking, and I need to start physio. You guys, I have plantar fascia or plantar fasciitis, and my foot is so painful. So I've got exercises to do. I just haven't done them. And I'm gonna, even if I have to start with one a day, like if it hurts is so bad that it's only one, I'm gonna try doing that because my foot is so painful every day. So I want to start doing that. And I'm going to start tracking that in my bullet journal, which is like where I kind of keep track of my health stuff. So regular percussions for my son, July budget setup, and then my plan with me setup. So plan with me July setup, and then also my marketing content. So I put on here everything that I need to do. Okay, and then on my mind, so Red Deer for July Canada Day long weekend, my reading goal, spiritual professional development goal, fiction for fun. I was like playing with the idea of like, doesn't that sound like a cool podcast or something? I don't know if that's already taken. I'd have to check, but um, either like a blog, a podcast, or a YouTube channel. Not a YouTube channel. I would just do like on my channel, but I would call it like the series would be fiction for fun, and I would talk about a book that I've read and like talk about the plot and everything. Like that would be kind of interesting. Maybe do like a book club where you read so many so many chapters and then talk about it together. I think that'd be so cool. I think it'd be really cool to do a live video with that, like with people who also read the same book. But I don't know how that would work. I don't know if anyone would be interested in that, but I think that's really cool. But I like the title. So note, planner setup, no school start in July, and new sinking fund allocation. So now we have to start saving after our property taxes are done. I want to like be consistent and just start saving $50 every week for property tax again, but I need to start saving for a few holiday things we want to do this summer and then Christmas. Okay, and then as for my evaluation check-in, I just need to compare it with the one I had for May, okay? So community I put 7, here I put 2. And so things have changed recently. Not only are we going to Red Deer this upcoming weekend, so I'm filming this video on a Wednesday, but we're going to Red Deer, so I feel like I don't know, we're able to see my son's grandpa, but it's more than that. We go to breweries and stuff, and we actually actively talk in the community, in the brewery community, and we're very active in that. We love going to local breweries because we want to support small business, but also because we just really enjoy craft beer. Um, like it's like you go to a bar, like if we go to karaoke, they have like their imports, like Coronas. Well, I know Corona's not an import anymore, but um like their import beers or bottled beers, but then they have on tap, they've got Molson Canadian and Budweiser, right? We can't drink that stuff. We just can't. Call us beer snobs, I don't care. And lately we haven't been doing too much of it because it's been an affordability issue. But when we go to Red Deer, my son's grandpa is super involved in that, and it's so much fun. We go to the Legion. You would never think the Legion would be fun, but we make it fun, and it's so fun. It's been this tradition that we've done every time we go to Red Deer, and the kids look forward to it like more than anything else, more than Christmas almost. So I'm just so happy that we're going. So that's number one. Like it's a very positive thing for us to get out of the city. It's like our holiday, right? Because we don't really go on holidays. Every time I go to Red Deer, that's our getting away. And also, I made some new friends at karaoke. So, since I've made new friends, I was actually invited to a girls' dinner, and I hung out with these two lovely ladies, and we had dinner, and we talked, and it was really nice to get out. And I've never really done that. Like I get out to go to karaoke, but I don't go to have dinner with people and just sit and talk ever. I've never done that. It not for a really long time. So I we did that and it was amazing. Like I had a pretty good time. It was a live band, so it was hard to talk and hard to hear each other. Um, but I feel positive about it. I feel like now I go to karaoke, I see those people and I'm like, hey, and then we're friends, right? So it's really, really good. I'm glad I made new friends. Family, I put 9, and before I put 8. So it's just been, I guess I've got a little bit more involvement with my grandma, for example. Um, my mom is kind of taking over helping my grandma. So my grandma's 82 or 83 now, and she's having some difficulty. She got herself into some trouble, and my mom is trying to help her. So she's switching over, trying to find the cheapest bill companies and trying to get her into a cheaper place. And there's a lot of computer work that comes with that. And my mom doesn't have a computer. And so what I do is my mom does the footwork. So she takes her to the appointments. She does a lot of the phone call stuff. And I do everything on the computer. So I've set my grandma up for all of her accounts. Um, I've set her up for online accounts for all of her like bills and stuff. And so that means that I can go in there and I can see how much her bills are due. So that's something that I keep track of, and that's my responsibility. Also, because it means I'm spending more time with my mom, right? She's in a lot of pain right now because I think she tore a muscle in her hand or her shoulder, and my grandma did as well. So they're both actually in a lot of pain, and so every little support I can give them, I'd give them. Like I have to take my grandma's stuff to her house. I have to drop it off at one point. It was a little bit of a long story, but she had to lend out her van, and she had some stuff in there, so she kept it in my garage while she did that. And then she had to get her van fixed. And so now I'm going to have to take that stuff because she can't lift anything because her arm hurts too much. That's something that I'm happy to help with. And it is harder for me to go out and do the things and drive her places because I do have the 3 kids. So if my mom can do that, I can do all of the paperwork and the computer side of things. And that's something that I love doing anyway. So why not, right? So anyway, um, Chad and I were doing pretty good. We had a date night last weekend. We're going to Red Deer. He's working in town again, so that's nice. And I feel like family deserves a 9. Okay. Finances, I put 5, and last time they were a 6. So that's just because we're at a point right now where we've kind of used all of our sinking funds, and we're going to be paying our property tax, and we're down to bare bones again because my husband was promised like a higher level at work, and he hasn't got it yet. And right now, with what he's making, it's actually not enough because we are in the middle of a consumer proposal. Um, it's still like, while it takes a lot of relief off our minds because we know we're dealing with our debt, it also still is a pretty high payment every week. So we're still trying to deal with that. And so finances are just a little bit low. I haven't been able to save any money because the paychecks aren't enough. So I've been able to pay the bills and put food on the table and stuff like that, the important things, but I haven't been able to save. So I really want to be proactive and save more money. But again, the consumer proposal takes a lot of a lot of that money that we could potentially save with. So we're trying to deal with that. Okay, the next one is health and wellness. I put 6 question mark, and before I had put a 7. And this is because I'm not like between my foot is excruciatingly painful. Like I can barely walk in the morning. I almost feel like I need a cane, and even a cane won't help because it's my foot that's giving me the problem. Like it's hobbled me basically. Um, and like I'm limping everywhere. Everywhere I go, I limp. So it's pretty bad. So I need to start physio. That'll be something that I'm going to start on for June. I also am not drinking enough water still. Um, and I guess, yeah, I need to focus on this more. So that's going to be a larger focus for June. Okay, home and spaces, I put a 7, and last time it was a 7. I feel confident with a 7. I don't know. I guess maybe I could have put an 8, but I'm not. I'm kind of halfway there. I did the garden. We're working on the garage, and the goal is to do the basement, but I haven't had a chance to work on the basement because it takes time, energy, resources. I have the 3 kids to worry about. So it stayed at a 7, even though the garden is done and some of the garage is done and I've cleaned up the yard. I do have to clean up the front yard because all of the garbage from the school blows in across the way. And also, my cleaning schedule has kind of fallen off the rack a little bit. I still clean, I just don't do it when I want to. So um, that leaves a little room for improvement. For spiritual and personal growth, I put 6.5. Here I had a 7. Again, I'm doing Jane's agenda, personal development stuff, which I'm really happy with, but I haven't focused on spiritual at all. Like I haven't read, I haven't done anything. So I'm kind of disappointed in myself for that. So I've got to get back on track with that. Work and learning, I put 8.5, and here it's a 7. So work and learning, like I kind of tie in personal development and professional development. The course that I'm doing is all about productivity, and it's helping me with my work and with my life. And so I kind of really happy with the way work and learning is going right now. I like the fact that I set these marketing goals for myself. I'm following through with it. I've seen increased sales, and I'm really happy with where I'm at with that right now. Okay, and then the last one I made up myself. I call it self-care. Technically, it could go under health and wellness because it's part of my health and wellness, but I decided to make it a name of its own because I want to focus on it. So I give that a 7, and last time I gave it a 6 because I am going and getting my nails done. I mean, that's not a huge thing, but it does mean like it's still a chunk of time for me. It's 1.5 to 2 hours if I get a pedicure. Of time set aside for myself where I don't have kids necessarily. I do have my daughter come with me because now she's into that and she likes getting her nails done. But also, that could mean like yesterday. For example, I was supposed to work. This video was supposed to have been done yesterday. I was supposed to edit a video. I was supposed to write my blog, whole bunch of things. And I forsake all of it. And I said, you know what? Right now, the thing that would make me happy, instead of doing all this work and having it all done, that would make me happy too. But I want to go outside and get my Jane's Agenda personal development reading done. So I was reading the 7 Habits of Effective People, and I finished that book and I started on Make Time, which is the other book that is for homework. And I sat out in the sun and I enjoyed sitting there in the sun, had my water, had my books, and I was happy. And I read for an hour and a half. And so that's my goal, is to make myself happy. And that's my self-care goal. So nails done. Sometimes I'll have a bath. Having a bath with Epsom salts really helps my foot actually. My physio is going to fall under health and wellness or self-care. Anything that makes me feel good is going to be self-care. On a personal note, because I don't feel like I spend enough time for myself. Um, you know, I rarely focus on me. It's always on my kids or other people, and so I need to take the time, and I'm going to schedule it in there because with that time look I did, was so productive. I did so much work. I took care of my kids. I took care of my husband, and my house, and my dogs, and the bird, everything. But with me, I noticed that I wasn't taking care of me as much as I want to. So that's another goal that I want to include. And yeah, it's important to me. It's one of my goals. So now we go to the main page. So break it down. This is where, like, a lot of the times I don't fill this out while I'm like if I'm writing on camera. And I also wanted to do it this way today because I used rainbow pen. And when I'm switching out and writing a different color every time, it takes a lot longer. So I thought, why not just talk about it? And then guys can see the rainbow pretty, the rainbow prettiness that is my planner now. So these are like bigger goals that you can kind of break down into smaller steps. So for Red Deer, going to Red Deer, it's part of my self care, part of our family time, part of our holiday, like our time together, and just relaxation time, right? So the things I would have to do is I have to talk to Mark to see if we can come down, if that's a possibility. I have to write down things to do, a prep list, and a pack list. Okay, that's all part of my planning system for that because I've got 3 kids and the 2 dogs, and it's a lot of work to take everybody, and I have to make sure we have everything because I don't want to have to be buying stuff when I'm there. Garden maintenance. So that's pretty easy. Reunion planning. I have my family reunion coming up the August long weekend, and I never paid. The deadline was to put a $50 deposit in by May 1st, and I never did. I'm sure that it's not too late. I'm sure that they'll be okay with us coming. We usually pay late all the time, so I need to contact them and then figure out what we're doing. Hotel, I'm not sure if I'll be able to because, like I said, I went through a consumer proposal. We don't have a credit card anymore. So I don't know if I'll actually be able to book a hotel online. Um, but, and I'm not sure if we'll have the money for it either. So I can't even go get a prepaid credit card and then book it online because I don't have the money to do that. So we might have to tent it. Well, we'll see how that goes. Planned garage sale, I was tentatively thinking about it. I did tell myself I would never have another garage sale, but I have so much stuff in my basement to get rid of still that I could technically have another garage sale. So I don't know. Maybe. My friend Tressa would probably help me. Maybe. She loves garage sales. Or if she decides to have one, I could just bring my stuff to her place and then hang out there for a little bit. So I'll say talk to Tressa. Okay. And then basement. So I said before garage sale, so I can actually get rid of the stuff. I've got a vacuum. I've got to go through all the containers, take to Goodwill, do the garage sale, and then all the baby items can go to my sister because my sister is due in September and she's having a baby boy. So, and then the last thing is the garage. Pressure wash the floors, clean off the benches, reorganize benches. So that also involves taking out all the things that are on the floor and just moving them out while I pressure wash. Um, Move things off floor. So the thing is, I could vacuum. That would probably be the most logical thing to clear up all the dirt because everything else will take more time. A vacuum would be awesome. But I don't have like one of those power vacuums and I don't want to use my house vacuum because I'm going to ruin the filters and everything. So I haven't decided what I want to do. Pressure wash or sweep are the 2 things I usually do. Last summer I swept the garage and the summer before I swept. And that's also bad too because it leaves a lot of dust. So we'll see. Pressure washing would be easier. It just takes a little bit of time because we don't have a pressure washer. I just use the garden hose on like a high pressure. So yeah. Okay, the last page, you guys. We're finally here. So encouraging words. Enjoy the heat and the sun. Read outside. Take pictures. Those are my not really encouraging words, but those are just the things I don't want to do. Like I love how that looks too. And then priority vacation time off mode. So my focus right now isn't so much on work, although I'll be doing all the work still. But my main focus is to go outside. If it's a sunny day, guess what? I'm going to be working my butt off from 5 to 7:30, get all my work done, and then go outside when my son is sleeping. Okay. So monthly action items. Sometimes I break up my boxes like this in order to save space. So for any appointments, I've got dentist, doctor, the one for my son. I've got 3 spots. So after each one, I cross off one of the spots and then it's done for the month. May budget recap and July budget, I break that up into 2. July planner setups, I've got 4 different planners that I'll be setting up. So I've got my classic, I've got my compact, I've got my bullet journal, and then I've got my goal video. Okay, May biz analytics, that includes 3 things as well, but they're all done at the same time. So it's finances, financials, analytics, and statistics. And that's for my blog and for my website. Then I've got nails done, self-care track. So I put it here because it's usually only once a month that I get my nails done, but I also want to, like every week in my planner, I track how many times I do self-care. And then if I've done it like, 2 to 3 times a week, then I can cross it off. Okay, I've got July content and marketing. So that includes obviously writing my content calendar for my work, um, designing stickers, making planner charms, doing my freebies, and my die cut. So that's 5 things. Garage finalized, so I want to clean that up. Basement clean, plan my trips, and pay property tax. Okay. For weekly action items, I've got budgeting and bills, so I check that off every week. Plan with me and meal planning, blog and sticker design, 2 different things, but I just like kind of break the box in half and cross it off once I've done. Because blog I do Tuesday, sticker design I do Wednesday usually. Fertilize plants, do that once a week. Spiritual focus, I really want to do that. And then personal development. So I did break those 2 separate instead of putting them together, just so I can really see the words and I can focus on that. And then for daily, read, because that's one of my biggest goals this year. Percussions for my son, water, again, one of the bigger goals, 10-minute tidy, habits wellness, water plants, and then school read. So this also involves anything to do with like my son's either his reading 20 minutes every evening or like studying for exams. So this is going to be the last month for school. So we've got the rest of May, which is 2 more weeks, and then we've got June, and his last day is June 26th. So we're looking at the end game here, and then July I'll be setting up my planner without school in there. So it'll be one less thing I have to keep track of. So I'm kind of happy about that. Okay, so that's it. That's it for my setup. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like this, let me know. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or whatever, or concerns, because especially if you're following along or if you're also doing your June goals in your June goal setup. I love like doing this. This is like, I don't know, I love talking about it. I love everything about goal setting and breaking it down into small tasks, like because that's actually essentially what they are, right? Your goals can be broken down into finite steps. They can be broken down into like you've got due dates for them, and that's what makes a SMART goal, right? Is it realistic? Is it achievable? Is it, can you like break down the time? So, and that's the thing. A lot of the goals that I have, like sometimes they get carried forward to every month, right? Like my YouTube intros, I haven't done those yet. And then I'm like, okay, is it really important to do that this year? Because it's already almost like June. Maybe I'll just continue with what I have and then next year change it. I don't know. Or maybe I'll change it now just for a refresh. And then think about, I'll do something simple and then maybe 2025, I'll do something elaborate again. So that's a possibility too. So yeah, that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. If you are new or have not yet subscribed, I would love if you would consider doing so. And click on the bell button to be notified when I upload new videos. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.